My apologies. I heard my name. I just got back. My master is feeling rather ill. He asked me to go to the pharmacy. And you ran the whole way. Not the whole way, sir. I walked, but when I heard you mention my name and were about to leave, I ran to catch you. Please excuse the delay. It is quite alright. Are you sure you're alright, sir? I will be fine. Did you need me for anything? I wanted to ask you about what happened with Mia, yourself, and your master. I will try to answer that as best I can. Thank you. And would you like a seat? I'd appreciate that, yes. And now, we return back to Klaus and Kun.
Alright, Kun's looking around trying to find whatever the threat was.
Hold on briefly. With Kun, did you say that you broke through the door?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that would have woken up everyone nearby.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so according to Kun, when Klaus is in danger, decorum goes out the window.
Also,
yes,
property damage. What is that?
Screw this one! I'm gonna door!
Vandalism!
Let's see.
It just means that Korim and probably half the household would be on their way.
Yes. Klaus being in danger? Door.
So Korim, you hear the noise and go running. You see one of the servants of the house also go running when Lady Atherian grabs him around the shoulder. I don't think you should crowd the boy. My lady, your son might be in danger. If it isn't something that Master Unwin couldn't handle, the noise would have extended far beyond his room, and we'd probably be missing half the ceiling by now. Let his friends handle it.
She has a point.
So, yes, Korim, you too may go to see your little brother and find out what the commotion was.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Klaus is starting to get back to his senses roughly at the same time as he hit Kun and realized that, hey, he's not watching.
So, Klaus, have we learned something?
Hit you? Oh my... Hit you?
What? No, seriously, what? I couldn't hear you.
Oh my god, this is just hit you!
Even I still didn't get that.
Pretty sure it was, oh my god, something or other, did I just hit you or something?
Yeah, oh my goddesses, because 3 goddesses!
Okay.
Yep.
Just it's like Kun hears that and he turns over his shoulder. Did you?
Yes, he did.
Considering he's currently standing with the staff at the hand.
Yes, Kun, he did. I probably felt it more than you did.
Oh.
By the way, Klaus, can I stay with you again? It's very dark in here.
Klaus blinks a couple times and just lets out a very shaky laugh at that. Yeah, probably a good idea, please do.
Wait a minute. Vell kind of drifts out of Kun's back and is sort of staring intently into Klaus's face. She notices the baggy the bags under the eyes, the sweat glistening,
Messy hair.
Mm-hmm. Did you have a nightmare?
I think so.
Right, that decides it. Yes, you may ask for privacy whenever you need to, but you only get at the most an hour, and then I'm coming back.
Can we make a deal that no more privacy before bedtime?
That's on you, dear. I will go if you ask me to, but I will be back instead of staying away the whole time. How is that?
Yeah.
Because frankly, with all this mind control business, I may be one of all of our best defenses.
Oh, excuse me. Who has the power to break that curse again?
True, but if you get infected, then who's going to break that curse on you?
One of the other shamans?
Yes, the ones I totally trust.
Is Korim here already?
Yes, he's...
Yeah, would have come pretty much around the door, seeing whatever is going on.
And I think it's time we gave them all a revelation. Now, please find a place to sit down. This may shock you all. Korim is far.
Yeah, the second Claus notices Korim, he's gonna just polter right over and just hug him. He needs big brother hugs.
Right.
Which is why...
You know what?
I was just gonna say, which is why Korim hugs him back and actually smooths down his hair a bit so that it's not all everywhere. Someone's gonna have to explain to me what actually happened.
I think we will all get that explanation once Klaus has calmed down, and might I suggest some breakfast for him. In the meantime, Kuhn, you have been a wonderful haunted hotel. Goodbye. She gently floats back over to Klaus.
And with that, we return to the person I've been delaying for far too long, young Whisper. We'll rewind back to when you had just left Winter, where you last were, where you were extending the courtyard.
Alright. So, once he's in the courtyard, he summons the wind. So, taking in a deep breath, and still keeping to the shadows, Whisper basks in the late evening air. Hands in his pocket, and wind in his hair, he fills his lung with deep breaths when the wind begins to pick up. Suddenly, a gale of powerful wind plucks Whisper off the cobblestones, off the courtyard, and drags him off into the sky. Up and up it carries him, above the buildings and trees. For 5 whole minutes he continues to climb, till all of the world save the moon lay bare below him. He hovers there for a minute, taking it all in. A smile tugs at his lip. He marveled at the world below him. He then turned to face the direction of the forest. Soon, you are all that stands in my way. Suddenly the events of the day come back to him, and he remembers his encounter with the Pirate King, and the oath he had almost been forced to break. His smile does not falter, but tears begin to flow down his cheek, only to be quickly carried away by the whispering winds. His emotions rise, and he feels the sky calling to him. Turning to the night, he answers the call and reaches for his power. He raises the wind. Higher and higher he fights against the natural pull of the world. He pushes his influence over it further and further than he has ever pushed it before. He raises the wind until it's a gale. Just when he has pushed his power to its breaking point, he draws his blade and turns to the faint glow in the east horizon, and begins to recite the prayer his father had taught him when he was still a boy. Lord of morning, hear our prayer. Shield our hearts from despair. Entrust us with wisdom's gentle spark, and light our paths up in the dark. Grant us strength where we lack, and keep the wind up at our back. Your will be done in night or day, Lord of sun and ocean spray. And should we fall before the dawn, then to you we commit our soul and song. At the end of his prayer, he sheathes his blade and lets the wind die. For almost a minute, he lets himself plummet toward the earth before once again summoning the wind.
Now, I must pause the scene here again, because we once again return to Lord Merrick and Butler Sebastian. So, we wanted to ask for some details about this brainwashing. First of all, how were you caught by Merrick? Well, I was ambushed in the corridor. I had to leave on matters of my own personal business to make sure my master's affairs were in order. The king, Mir, caught me when I was alone. Yes, and then you and he went to see Whisper? No. I beg your pardon? No, he asked me to bring Whisper to him. I see. So, Mia did not walk into the room. He instead brought you, and he brainwashed you when you were alone. Yes? Yes. And from my understanding, who else besides yourself and King Mir was in the room with Whisper? Only myself, Whisper, and then later Saber and his other brainwashed guards. I see. Is this vital? Well, what this tells me is there may be another hole in Mir's power. For whatever reason, when he is trying to dominate the minds of others, he needs them to be alone. Back to you, Whisper. Please roll a perception check.
27.
As you let yourself slowly drift downwards, you feel the wind gently passing by you. You enjoy the soft breeze, and then you look down, perhaps just on a whim, and you freeze. For down below you, you see the familiar cloaked sight of King Mir. He is standing only a few feet away from where you were just about to land. He's looking at a piece of paper, and it's too far away to see the details, but with its significance in the last few hours' events, the silhouette of that damned parchment is burned into your mind. It's the contract. The edge closest to you is glowing red, and Mia takes a step forward in that direction. He is now directly beneath you. He looks left, then right. You have only a few seconds before he looks up. What do you do?
I redirect myself so that I put the roof between me and his line of sight.
Before you do, I'm going to ask you to roll a sense motive check.
That is a 25.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
Man, even when the when the DM says that.
You're about to do that, but you realize something. He's not looking with his eyes, and then you think about his mental powers, and you realize that may be exactly what he is scanning the area with. The only reason you are undetected is because you are hovering outside of its range. And with a lump in your throat, you realize that the area you had just been about to duck into would likely have put you directly within his scan. With disaster narrowly avoided, what do you do in the next few split seconds before he looks up?
Instead of going for the roof, I simply veer away from the, I can move up to 60 feet in a second. I wouldn't have to move far in order to make the narrow area of the street invisible.
You move up and away as high and as far as you can, further and further until you are sure that you are out of range of his scan. Now, what do you do?
So, let me get this straight. He was standing just in front of the Mages College?
Were you hovering up just by the Mages College then?
Relatively.
Then, yeah, he was by the Mages College.
Okay.
He was as you said, you were about a block away from the Mages College, so was he.
Whisper,
Following
obviously.
Following the contract of yours like a compass.
Alright. So, Whisper's a little bit shaken from that near encounter.
Shooketh.
Shaken and shaking his fists. Whisper decides to let down on top of the Mages College, I suppose.
I see.
So that he can actually give himself a proper sit and think. Whisper decides to commit, and he heads. He basically kind of keeps an eye in the direction of where Mir was, and makes sure that Mir doesn't come in his direction. Ooh, nice illustration.
I have to look at that in a second. With the pre-warning you got in your own sense of mobility navigation, that's not too difficult. Thank God.
Okay, so can I can kind of see the alley where I can kind of see the alley where Mir was in, right?
You'd have to fly to get a look at fly up to get a look at what's inside it, but yeah, you'd be able to see the general, I'm gonna presume that as a sailor, his sense of direction is good enough that he would be able to keep an eye on where he was coming from and be like, okay, the alley is more or less in that direction.
Alright, so what I mean is, I'm making sure the college, where I intend to let down in front of the college, is not in direct view for a while away from where he had encountered Mir.
It is not. You are able to do that, yes. I don't need to make a roll for that.
So before he goes down, he puts on a different disguise. He dresses up like a woman.
Yeah, you know exactly what music I'm going to be playing when I edit this.